In this video, we're going to learn how to divide decimals. Let's start by doing the first example. 28 and 2/10 we have to divide by 3. To divide decimals, we use long division method, the same long division method that we use for dividing integers. Remember that we have to put one number in the box and one number outside the box. The way I remember which one goes in and which one I have to write outside is by thinking of in and out. So if I say in and out, then it tells me that the first number has to be put in the box and the second number should be outside of the box. So 28.2 is in the box and then 3 is outside. So this is what we need to know, that in the answer that, as you remember, will appear here on the top, the decimal point will be right above the decimal point in the number that I'm dividing. So I'm placing it right above. I can already do that. And then I start dividing. So I know that 3 does not go into 2, so I pick up both numbers 2 and 8, and I'm thinking, how many times does 3 go into 28? Well, that's 9 times. I place 9. I multiply 9 by 3, that's 27. I subtract. I get 1. And then I bring down the next digit. And as you can see, I don't have to worry about the decimal point. I already placed it, so I just need to continue dividing as I divide integers. How many times does 3 go into 12? It's 4 times. 4 times 3 is 12. I subtract and get remainder 0. So I got remainder 0. I don't have any other digits to use. It means that I'm done with division. So 28.2 divided by 3 equals 9.4. Now I told you that there are several things that we need to know when we perform division of decimals. Notice that the divisor is the whole number. And once again, we cannot perform long division if it's not a whole number. Well, it worked for example A. Let's look at example B. In example B, we have to take 0.296 and divide by 0.08. Well, as we can see here, the second number is not a whole number. That is decimal. That means that before we start long division, we have to change this decimal to a whole number. So, how do we change this decimal to a whole number? We do that by moving the decimal point far enough so the number becomes a whole number. So if I take decimal point, where do I have to place it so that becomes a whole number? Well, I have to move it 1, 2 places to the right and place it after 8. Then what I'm looking at is just 8, not 0.08 anymore, right? So now we're going to be dividing by 8 instead of 0.08. And that's what we wanted. However, what's important is that if we change one of the numbers this way, we have to change another number exactly the same way as well to get the right answer. So if I had to move decimal point 2 places to the right in the second number to make it a whole number, then I have to perform same steps in the first number as well. That means that I have to move decimal point 2 places to the right as well. 1, 2. And that becomes 29.6, right? So you have to perform same steps here. Now, why is that? Originally, we had to divide 0.296 by 0.08, and changing only one number changes the problem, right? Then answer would be different. But in order for us not to change the result of this operation, we have to change both numbers same way. what might help you to understand why it works that way, if I give you this little example, I'm gonna put it in this corner. So let's say, what if I ask you to divide 100 by 50? Well, we know that 100 divided by 50 is 2. But now what if I decide to cross out 10 in 50? So it's just 5. What if I dividing by 5? Well, in order for me to preserve the answer, I have to cross out 10 in 100 as well. So that means that I'll have 10 divided by 5. And that is also 2. So if I change both numbers same way, either attach 0 to each or divide out 10 or cross out 0 in each, I will be getting same answer. And that's technically what happens here. When we move decimal point to the right, it's the same as multiplying number by 10 every time with every move. So we multiplied the second number by 10 twice. It means that we have to multiply the first number by 10 twice as well. So let's write down how our numbers look like now after we move the decimal point. So it's 29.6 being divided by 8. And we're ready for the long division, right? The second number is the whole number, so let's perform long division. The first number goes in the box. 29 over 6, we have to divide by 8. We put it outside. And as you remember, the first rule that we learned is that the decimal point in the answer is right above the decimal point in the number that sits in the box. So I can divide 2 by 8, but I'm going to pick up 9, so 29. How many times does 8 go into 29? 3 times. 3 times 8 is 24. I subtract, get 5, bring down 6, so it's 56. 8 goes 7 times into 56. So 7 times 8 is 56. I subtract, I get remainder 0. And I obtain the answer, 3.7. So 3.7 is the result of the division of those two numbers as well as the original numbers that we had. So those two operations are equivalent. So the answer is 3.7. And let's finally look at one more example. In this example, we have similar situation where the second number is a decimal. So first we want to change it to a whole number. So to change 0.24 to a whole number, I have to place decimal point at the end of this number, and that means that I will be moving it 2 places to the right. If I am moving 2 places to the right, so 2 places, I have to do the same thing in the first number. Do the same. Okay, so I'm taking the decimal point and I'm moving it 1, 2 places. See what happens? One place was 4, and the second place I didn't have a digit there. So let me write down what I'm looking at right now. So what is the first number then? I have 9, 2, 4, and I also had one additional place. And that place I'm gonna fill in with 0. So it means that this first number becomes 9,240 after I move decimal point 2 places to the right. And of course the second number becomes 24. So that problem is equivalent to dividing 9,240 by 24. Let's perform this division. Now here I don't have a decimal point. Well, technically it's at the end. I might not need it, so let's just start dividing. 9, I cannot divide by 24. How about 92? So 24 goes 3 times into 92. 3 times 24, that is 72. I subtract, the remainder is 20. I bring down the next digit, that is 4. Now I have to think how many times 24 goes into 204. And for that, I can do some multiplication on the right, trying different numbers. Well, I already know that it's going to be 8. So 8 times 24 is 192. And you can check all that on the side. So let's see, 4 minus 2 is 2. Here I have to borrow 1. 10 minus 9 is 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. So 12. Remainder is 12. And then I'm bringing down the last digit, which is 0. 120. And then I know that 24 goes 5 times into 120. 5 times 24 is 120. Now I did that process of the long division a little bit faster, just because we're already familiar how to carry out the steps. But the main two things that we wanted to learn from this video is that to divide two decimals using long division method, the second number has to be a whole number. So you have always, if it's not, you have to change it to a whole number by moving decimal point. And when you move decimal point in one number, you have to move it in the other one as well, same way. That's one. The second is that the decimal point in the answer is always right above the decimal point in the number that you're dividing. So that's the second important thing to remember. Yeah, that's how we perform division of decimals.